With groove, I know I can. Read my master plan. I'm grooving, yes I am. I'm grooving. I'm moving, yes I am. I'm moving. I'm moving, yes I am. I'm moving. I'm moving, yes I am. I'm moving. I'm moving, yes I am. Groove Nation inspires me to bust loose and break free. I'm dancing to my dreams, bursting at the seams. I'm feeling groovelicious. Groove knows who I am. 'Cause now is my time to have a groove state of mind. I'm grooving. I'm grooving. I'm moving, yes I am. I'm moving. I'm moving. I'm moving, yes I am. I'm moving. I'm moving. I'm moving, yes I am. I'm moving. I'm moving. I'm moving, yes I am. Move, 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 move. I'm moving. Move, 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 move. I'm moving. I'm
All right, and we are live here with our, I think, second State of the Groovion here today. And we have the lovely Donna Fox, my partner, is going to be joining us today. Unfortunately, David Lemon couldn't make it. This was a very last-minute impromptu State of the Groovion. We thought about pushing it off until next week so David could join us, and then we decided, no, we'll do 3 weeks in a row. So we're going to be doing one today, one next Friday, and then the next one's not really going to be a State of the Groovion. It's just going to be more that, hey, we're back and we're doing some fun live streams. So I want to welcome Donna, give everybody a big welcome to Donna in the chat, and let me take a look at who's here. And Donna, if you want to say a few words, and then we'll get started.
Absolutely. Hey, everyone. So nice to see you. So nice to be back. GrooveZilla hasn't been on camera in a long time, so she is thrilled to be able to strut her stuff for the camera today. And just happy to be here. Really, really happy to be here today.
Awesome. And I saw Jim A ask for GrooveZilla. Joanne Woloff says she's anxious. Great to be back. Browser guy. we have a lot of people in here. Agora Business Coaching. I wonder who that is. Joe, Jose Noel, and again, too many names. Amanda Vandergulik. She's always here. Some of our great fans, as we refer to you guys as the ultimate groovesters. All right, so let's talk about today's agenda and next week's agenda, and then we're going to jump right in. So first off, it is. How do I say this? It's just great to be back. We're going to talk about very openly today about how much we wanted to do live streams every single week. We wanted to be doing live streams. We wanted to be doing trainings. We wanted to use that beautiful studio that we have in Boca Raton. And David Lemon, who literally does live streams daily, well, not daily, but several days throughout the week, training. Also, because of our situation, couldn't do live streams. So if you haven't had a chance to read the report, we highly recommend that you go into the Facebook group and read the print version of the Q4 2022 State of the Groovion. And in that report, we talk about the horrific year that we had here at Groove. Now, we had a great first quarter, a horrible second quarter, a not so bad third quarter, but we were recovering from the second quarter, which was devastating, folks, devastating. And then the good fourth quarter that we're having now, and our road to recovery. So we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room right now and just get it out of the way, and so that we can then I can take the report, we can go through it bit by bit, and that's when we had some cash flow issues in the middle of the year, we incurred some debt, and we had to right the ship. And then part of that debt was affiliate payments. And we were working with our top affiliates to get them either paid or make some JV swaps, or just communicate with them that it's going to take about 6 to 8 months or whatever the case is. But those were one-on-one conversations that I could have. Once I got past the top 20, you know, it's almost like me sending a personal email to, to all the Groove members. It doesn't work that way, right? We have to do a broadcast. And one of the things that I didn't want to do is I didn't want to make it public. I didn't want the spoken word on a live stream or an email or anything to say that even one single affiliate payment was late, let alone, several hundred people. And so what was happening is people would come to the help desk, they would complain, we'd pay that person, we'd pay these different peoples. And, we're playing whack-a-mole basically, right? It's a tough thing. I'm sure some of you will relate either personally or in business, but if you haven't, I could explain it to you like this. When you have cash in the bank, all your bills can get paid, and it's just a matter of invoice comes in and you pay it. Once your cash in a company like ours starts to approach like $25,000, which might be half of our payroll, not even including developers. What starts happening is you start realizing, well, you've known it, right? You've maybe dealt with in your life. I either pay the car payment or I pay the life insurance or the car insurance. If I don't pay the car insurance, then it's illegal to have a car on the road without insurance. My registration will lapse, and if I don't pay my car payment, they're gonna come pick my car off the street, right? And so when you're in those situations, personally, it sucks. And with a business, those same things were coming in at the same time. We're saying, hey, we're gonna get the ship right. Don't worry, these things are gonna take care of themselves, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they just took a lot longer, which we're going to go through in detail here. But the reason why I'm bringing all of this up right now is, first off, just to explain where we've been. So what happened was two things. We tried to do a couple of live streams, and especially David was trying to do them weekly. And you can understand, you've got a captain, a CEO in me that's saying, this doesn't get mentioned, this is, you could kind of almost look at it like a political administration, right? There's something going on, and basically we go to the White House press conference, the briefing, right? And you're getting hit with, do you want to answer the questions about the reports? So what do? You say no more White House press briefings. That's essentially what we did here in the company. We wanted to get out there. Donna, I see you laughing, but that's, and unfortunately the White House doesn't have the opportunity to do that, but we did, and it actually made things worse for us, right? So what was happening was David was doing live streams, and he's saying, Mike, I can't do a live stream. We have to delete the live stream because 50% of the comments are, is Groove healthy? Why am I not getting paid? What's going on here? And oh, I didn't even know. Is there a problem? And then those people would go log into their account and be like, oh shit, I didn't even know I was owed $300 for the last 60 days. And then the thread was me too. And then we delete it, right? Because, the captain says, I don't want this drama out there. We're going to fix this. And then that leads to a snowball effect, right? People are like, oh, they're deleting the post. There's definitely something wrong. And so Donna and David are having interventions with with me and the other partners saying, you need to confront this. And I'm saying, we're going to get this figured out in 30 days, and it's not going to be an issue. All right, I think you're wrong, Mike. I said, look, we put this out there. The internet's forever. Trust me, I'm right on this, and blah, 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 blah. And 30 days turned into 60, 60 turned into 90. And then I had to basically be forced to be shown screenshots every single day saying, do you see what you're doing to the company, Mike? They're saying we're going out of business. By you not doing this, they're saying this. They're saying, you should start selling your lifetime accounts for $500. They're going to be closing in 30 days. And it was getting so ridiculous. And I say that laughing because of how how foolish I was to put ourselves in this this position.
So I want to add a personal apology in here
please.
too, Mike. Everything that anyone has said bad about the support team is my fault. Truly my fault. There was a moment where we've just been hiding from this for so long, and I can't
in support about
lie
affiliate
to save
payments.
my life.
Support
I
about,
can,
yeah.
About affiliate payments, yes. My advice to the support team was, well, don't lie, and we can't tell them the truth, so just don't answer. That really was the best response. Is we couldn't have our team lie.
For you to have to go with my rules. If my rules are you can't speak about it, then you
can't speak about it and can't lie. Yeah. And that's why so many people were getting such vague answers from our support team, because we were trying to support you among the, with the rules that we had in place. So I apologize for you for if you in fact did not get a ticket answered, because at some point we just ran out of the ability to respond to you. Not great customer service. We know it's not great customer service. Yeah, about the affiliate issues.
But what really sucks about that, and why you keep hearing me say about that, just to affirm, is that there's so and Martin Bodeker, hey everybody, good to see you back. Same to you as well. When people start saying they're not answering support tickets, the context is lost, because then as the rumors are flying around, it's like, oh my God, the help desk closed. So if you're just reading that, and even me, I'm seeing some of the comments, after the report were put out, and thank you guys. You guys are, just the best community ever. Thank you. We read every single comment in there, and of course, we can't expect everybody to read the report, right? Yeah. It's 23 pages. They're going to skim through it, and we're not. One of the worst things that I wanted to do, just responding to some people that didn't see what was in the report, that said, I read the report, but. Excuse me, I didn't want to put, well, if you read the report, right? Yeah. Because that was just the first step. The live stream was the second step. Not everybody's going to see that as well. The beautiful thing is, you folks that have our back know that we can't be everywhere, but at least may see something like that and say, well, they did mention this, and etc. So for instance, we said that we're planning on paying all the commissions in the first quarter of this year. That's our goal. And that starting, effective immediately, all sales are just going to be put into escrow, and, we're going to start paying the commissions earned, from now. But sorry, as I said, the context of the help desk is not answering tickets. It just became, a poop show, for lack of a better word, in what happens when we are silent. We are not responding to your questions in the help desk. We're not live streaming. We're deleting threads, asking for questions in the Facebook group. That can only lead to speculation. And that's why I
remember saying all the time, Mike, you'd be like, I don't want people talking about this. And I would say, they are talking about it. They're just not, they're talking about it without the information. It's tough. It's tough to face the music sometimes. And I applaud your bravery for being here today.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm not going to certainly make myself a martyr, but thank you, Donna. But I understand what you're saying. It's
still tough today. I mean, that's the thing. It's not like it's easier to admit any of this. That it was time.
I'll admit that, right?
Yeah.
My wife knows, of course, what's going on, right? 100%. So she came in. She made me drink my other bottle of water, and she put a new one right on before we went live. And she says, "Come here. You got this. You're going to rock this." And I said, well, I don't, this isn't really anything to rock. We're not going out and talking about, a new announcement or anything like that. This is coming in to talk in detail so you could hear it from us, from the report. So I'm going to share my screen in just a minute. So just a reminder, the agenda today is to go over, we're not going to read the report out loud. This isn't, story time, but we're going to look at the report, and some of the things will get read, but for the most part, we're going to add context to the report. So it's great if you read it. If you haven't, you can read it later, but you're pretty much going to get the whole gist of everything that's going on here. And then we're going to pivot to the end to some, to some more good news. And again, we're going to preface with Groove is strong. We're not going to have the year we had last year. We're going to probably come right into the landing around $6.8 to $7 million. And look, when you take a several $1 million hit, and you were putting your foot on the gas pedal, which basically means we weren't making a profit. If we made a profit, we didn't take the profit. We added more developers. We increased the size of the marketing department. One of the mistakes that we made, talking about that, is that we thought the mistake anybody could make is to think that tomorrow is going to be as good as yesterday, right? And when you have a business that's doing well and you start reading your own press, right? We were on top of the world. What we didn't do is we didn't put a strong enough a cash reserve in the bank, right? We had about 1.5 million in the bank, and when the way we were rolling, that's 45 days of revenue. So losing several $1 million in revenue for a year, and it's not necessarily that the company isn't doing as well as it was last year. It's that we had an offer that was working and bringing in $25,000 a day, and we shut it off and we said, okay, now pay us $99 a month. And then when we made 10 sales, it brought in 1,000 for the day instead of 20,000. And we didn't have
take a sip of. Oh, go ahead. I thought you were done with that thought. I'll let you take a sip of water and just jump in here for a second, because it sounds like you need one.
Okay.
I am noticing and reading every comment as it goes by. And after these live streams, we always tell Mike not to read the comments in the live streams. He absolutely will go back and read every single comment. So if we don't get to your comment or question, we definitely will after the stream. But I do want to acknowledge that I see so many people just sharing love and support and saying, they recognize something was up when David Lemon didn't stream, when Frank Salinas stopped. We're going to be talking about some of those things a little bit later. And I do see a number of people saying, okay, how can we help? And without question, the number one way that you can help support us and get us over these cash flow issues is to start supporting Groove again. So we'll get into that later, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that we have planned for next year, the good stuff, the exciting stuff, the content and the courses and the mastermind we're putting together, and continuing to support us both in sharing what you know about us as people in the marketplace, to just rest other people who may not know us, who are thinking that we're scammers or crooks, or which is just completely ridiculous if you know us, that we're not that way at all. Sharing that in the marketplace, letting them know that who we are, is so important to us. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a little break, Mike, and say that we just appreciate the incredible support.
David, sure I started scrolling. Yeah. William Phillips asks, what happened to David Lemon? Is he still with the company? Yes, he is. And he's heartbroken that he couldn't be here today. He asked us to move the State of the Groovion. We said we wanted to release the report last Friday.
Let me do that. Actually, in the way it happened, I asked him if we wanted to move this from Friday. We wanted to get it out as soon as possible, but I wanted to defer to Dave, and I knew that he had to be. He's helping his grandparents this weekend, so he is off doing that. But I wanted to give him the opportunity to be here live, because I know that he wants to be here live in the community. And he said, "I think the community needs the message sooner." So David is the reason why David is not here today, not because he didn't want to be here, but because he wanted you to get the message.
Yeah, I even said, should we wait? But we realized he didn't need to be on for this part one, right? This is not his doing. He had no no call in anything that was said. He was the messenger, right? When they say don't shoot the messenger, he was getting shot. So yeah, so that's I forget where I was, but I think I'm at a pretty good point to pivot, to the report. But yeah, it's basically time to jump on in here. So I'm going to share my screen, and pretty much anything else I would have said off the cuff is probably going to be spoken about here. But I'm just trying to remember where my thought was, if there was a key point to it. Do you remember what I was saying, Donna?
Oh, no, at this point I don't.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right. So no, that's okay. And I just want to let everybody know I'm pushing through. The last thing that I was going to do was cancel this today, but some of you know, and some of you have met my my three little babies. You know, Kenny, he's our first cat; Bloggy, our second cat; and Scabby, our third cat. Last night, Bloggy, my wife noticed that he was just making these groaning noises, trying to go to his litter every 5 minutes. And so, long story short, he's extremely constipated. So we left for the vet yesterday at 11 p.m. and we left the vet at 4:30. It was a horrible night. He's okay, with the exception he still hasn't pooped, but they gave him an enema. And Bloggy is not a cat that likes to deal with people, and when he gets nervous, you know, he pees, and all the liquid was just exploding all over the room. And then in I said, can we leave him? They said, no, it's better you take him to home. He doesn't need stress. Aww. And then just inside the car, and we put him in a room with just tiles, and he's not allowed to eat. And he's just not doing well because he hasn't pooped yet. And so my wife, you know, I was real concerned because, you know, they said if he hasn't pooped, call us in the morning. And I thought that I was going to have to take him back to the vet today. My wife called just an hour before we were going on, and they said if he hasn't pooped by 8 p.m. that we got to take him back. So so just know that little thing is just on my mind. But thank goodness he got blood work, x-rays, everything, and they're like, nope, he's just, you know, looks like he hasn't pooped in like 3 days. And so the reason why I say that is I didn't get to bed until about 6 a.m. and then I had to wake every hour to go check on him. So I haven't gotten the best sleep tonight. So just having said that, I didn't want any of my look or tiredness or anything to come across the stream in any other context, then I'm happy to be here, and life happens on the other side. All right, so let's share the screen here.
I'm so torn right now between feeling bad for Bloggy and laughing at some of the comments that have come in. You know, the TMI and glad I didn't eat dinner.
Well, it's a cat.
Comments like that.
Yeah.
Poor little baby.
I'm sorry, it's TMI, but you know, if I you know tell you that my cat is not sicking at the vet, and I don't tell you why and how he's doing, then everybody's going to be saying, is he okay? You know, that type of stuff. So yeah. Yeah, the TMI, yeah, on the rough night, I get it. All right, so let's see how to share the screen here.
But thanks for the recommendations that I see in there as well. So we'll
people
definitely...
saying pumpkin puree. Okay, share screen.
Kevin said no apology, pets matter. So true. They are our children.
Okay. All righty. I'm going to let me shut off Stage Manager. And you guys should be seeing my screen here, right?
Yes.
All right. I wonder, is that good, or was it better completely blown
zoomed in?
I'll show you like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zoom it in.
Like, we'll do it like that.
There. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, table of contents. This is what we're going to go over, pretty much in the report. In summary here. And then remember, part 2 next week, we're going to actually do an actual state of the Groovion and talk about, what we have plans for development, GroovePay Brazil, the studio, podcast, different things like that. So I referred to this as the blip deliberately, right? It was we wanted to come at this, not with any type of sense of humor, but letting you know that Groove is okay. And the blip comes from the MCU, right? They just had to deal with certain things when Spider-Man was talking about, well, ever since the blip, right? But the blip was actually not a blip, right? Frankly speaking, when I refer from here on out, or Donna, as the blip, It is. It was the scariest time in my online business in 20 years because when I started to worry, like, are we going to be able to get through this? Can we pivot fast enough? It wasn't just about personal uh, personal finances, which is one level. Then there's business finances, which is another level because you've got, whether it's 3 employees to 30 employees, you have other people that depend on you. But this was on a whole nother level, right? This was like, there are people that depend on Groove, right? There are people that depend on the hosting staying up and all those different things. So the level of stress when we hadn't yet figured it out was the toughest time in my life, without a doubt, right? In terms of finances, right? We understand. And it's worth saying, and I think I'm just going to pause on this one, Donna. Come back here. It's worth saying. We want to put everything into perspective because we're all here, right? And there's a lot of people that aren't. Donna and I have been talking. I turned 55 3 weeks ago. And Donna's in her early 20s, and every text, and I'm talking, guys, I'm talking twice a week to 3 times a week, is another friend that passed away. And if it's not a friend, it's Kirstie Alley. But it just seems like
Zig Ziglar.
Yeah,
people
Dave
that we've met
Licani,
that have had a huge influence over us
Dave
are
Woodward.
our mentors.
Yeah. And but there was obviously COVID. A lot of people lost a lot of people through COVID, and a lot of family members, from the staff, the partners. There's been just a lot of, tough stuff, and I'm sure we all deal with that. And and then on top of that, there were also weddings, and life, as will go on. Donna and I were just realizing, wow, when we start seeing our friends that we've known at marketing events, and we're just getting the text message, this person passed away, this person passed away, natural causes, Dave Woodward, our hearts go out to all of the people in his family and all of the people at ClickFunnels. Can't even imagine, what they're going through, losing such a wonderful human being. So at the same point, we want to just address that, it's just a blessing to be here and to have gotten through this tough time when a lot of people have it a lot worse. So no pity parties here with Groove, but this is really just about being transparent with you. Reed Florine says there's been a lot of deaths lately. Yeah. Sad face too. Yeah. And Reed, I didn't read your previous comment. I just saw that somebody else said, I agree with Reed. Anything we can do to help, something along those lines. Reed, you've been with, a friend of mine, certainly a business relationship friend for maybe a decade or more than a decade. And, to see you here supporting us and seeing somebody echoing the statement you made means a lot to us. So let's get back to sharing the screen here. I believe that's this one. All right. So we're going to talk about what happened, right? And then we're going to talk about the economy, because there was 2 things going on. One, should we just prepare, to get back to the old days of Groove? Or is that going to be a mistake if we assume that if we get back to the same position and bring back more staff and all of these different things too soon? Are we not also looking at what's going on at the economy? And are we going to be putting out another report like this next year? Well, we didn't understand that when we thought getting back to normal meant getting back to normal with Groove, but we didn't know that the economy was going to do that. So we're going to talk about that as well, and how we prepared. Like, what's our position now? What does the staff look like? What are our goals to get to? And in a company, there's different things, right? There's cash flow, but then there's also expenses and revenue, and then forecasting. So we could look at expenses and revenue, but then we could also look at what do we have in terms of opportunities. And one of the things that is important, especially with the lessons that I've learned, is don't don't overestimate your opportunities, right? I have a really, really good track record. But because of that, things have gone well for me in the things that I've launched. I never said to myself, what happens if this doesn't go away? Bob Proctor, people are saying, yeah. So now we're looking at things with a look of more what if, right? What's the worst case scenario here? What if that doesn't happen? And look, guys, letting you down is one thing as well. But letting our team down is really, really difficult. I think you guys can understand. It was in the report. We're in the guru business, right? And Donna, put something in the report. She added some spice to it that said, if you're in the beauty business, right, you don't show up without makeup and your hair all fried up unless you're doing a makeover. Like, hey, I'm going to show you how I turned from this to that, right? And if you're in the relationship business, we said, getting a divorce is just not the best look. And when you're in the guru business or the business building business or anything like that, having anything where you're not doing well is it's something that you try to avoid, right? So we're gonna touch upon that as well. All right, we're gonna talk about the success of the new pricing plans. That was a real big win for us. I'll say this. I can say it's hard to even say this because it's just a fact. If those pricing plans didn't work, Groove would not be here. There would be nothing that would have been able to save the company. Not investment, nothing, because there was no way forward and not enough time. So luckily, that was good. Now, we could say to ourselves, well, to hear that there was something that could mean Groove doesn't exist, that gives me a little pause, Mike. Like, did everything really come down to one thing? And how do we know that's not going to happen again? Let's put some context into that before we get into the report. That came from taking a business model, an offer that was working. You signed up for free, and we made you an offer, and you could buy the lifetime. Once was $13.97, then $14.97, then $19.97. And then we completely changed the front end website. We put up pricing plans. We had to have an entire website built showing all the features because, we were going away from, focusing on free. And so when you're going to ask somebody for $199 a month, they say, all right, well, now I really need, when they're buying lifetime, let's juxtapose that to lifetime. Lifetime, as many of you have even said in the comments, it's like, I'll take a shot on this. I'll pay $14.97, $19.97, whatever you paid. I'll take a look. Let me see. And if it doesn't work out, shame on me, but the upside is so good. If this works, I'll never have to make another payment on my business. So when we shut that down and we rolled out our new website and our new pricing plans, and it just flopped, we were already up the creek without a paddle, right? We were already in a tough position. We were in Brazil at an event that we wouldn't have done had we known that we were going to be in this cash flow situation. But now we're spending $250,000, there. And then we make the offer live and it doesn't work. And we've got to put it on an event over there. And that's when it really started hitting the fan. And in Brazil, we put together a crack team. I would go do the Brazil events, and then I would stay up all night writing the new offer, working with Donna and David Fernandez and Elliot and Lucius. Basically, the five of us came together and we said, and then the rest of the marketing team was putting together the things that we put in. And I did a really weird offer. I created an auto page. Donna, you'll kind of admit it. It's like nothing that's ever been there before. There's a ton of reasons why it could have failed, right? There's no copy on the page. We put all the copy in the video, and then we stack these pricing plans that all build on each other. And there was a call. This is Transparency Day, so we're just going to talk about it. There's a call where.
Let me stop. Hold that thought and keep it. There's a call. To those of you that are here because you think there's going to be training, The state of the Groovion is not about training. The state of the Groovion is, so I've noticed a couple of comments, so I just want to address that. The state of the Groovion is where we pull back the curtain, tell you a little bit about the company, what's been going on. And this one in particular is going to be a little more personal because we have a lot to say that we're sorry for. But if you want training, if you want information about the app development, that's next week. Next Friday. And then training, we have some exciting stuff planned for you, but it's not going to happen today. Today we're just chatting.
Yeah. So thank you, Donna. So yeah, I remember a call. I'm in Brazil. I'm on the 25th level in their executive lounge, which I made my office. Got a real good call from Roland Frazier. I think that phone call, and he called me for a different reason. He wanted to promote Groove. And then he said, "Can you tell me about your affiliate program?" And I said, "Oh, that's the thing, Roland. I don't have an offer right now." And and he's like, "Well, I thought things were going so well." And so I basically told him, what we did, and it was him. He was the one, and I'll talk about that when we get to that in the middle. But it was him that gave me the idea. That I called up the team and I said, "Hey, here's what's going on." But literally, guys, 24 hours before that, Transparency Day, the partners were so scared that we were yelling in a way, words would come out like, "That's the stupidest idea. That's not going to work." Well, your thing didn't work. Well, I can tell you for sure that's not going to work. We're not doing that. And it was like panic had set in, and the partners had never been on a call like that before. And what's happening is people were just throwing out any ideas. And if it was a bad idea, we jumped on it as like, "That's the stupidest idea." Well, excuse me. Well, and it was a tough time. We regrouped. We said, "Hey, just got off the call with Roland. Here's what we're going to do." And we rolled that thing out. And I remember, I can tell you the day that it was June 2nd. And I remember I was with Jay Abraham, and Jay Abraham was talking to me. And I didn't want to ignore Jay Abraham. And I got a Skype message that said, "We just went live and we're making sales." And I remember looking at it and smiling, and Jay Abraham started smiling because he thought that it had to do with what we were talking about. I specifically remember that. And we invited him to Brazil, and then the sales started working. We said, "Okay, so I'll give a metaphor on that. We're going to get back into the document here." So the metaphor is, what position were we in then, now that it was working? Well, for those of you that will understand this, and I know with the couple of hundred people on here right now, 435, Jesus Christmas, we should have more financial troubles every single time before webinars. What a great show, right?
Yeah. And to those of you who said there are only 60 watching or 80 watching, we're streaming at a few different locations right now. So people are watching in different places. The stream tells us they're 438 live.
Yeah. So what was I just saying?
Oh gosh. We were talking about Brazil and
the
new offer.
It was I know what it was. It was a metaphor. All right. So this was the position that Groove was in. You had a really, really good job. Let's say you were an executive, or whatever the case, whatever a good job was to you. Let's say you were making $150,000 a year, and you're the head of the household, and you got laid off, right? Everybody might have been in some situation like this in their life where they were unemployed for maybe 2, 3, 4 months. Not everybody, but people can understand, friends that were. So now you understand what starts happening here when you're a successful person and you run out of income, and then you now fall behind on your bills. And then what happens is you go out and you get another job. And you get another job, and now you're making $150,000 a year again. The only problem is the repo man is coming to your house tomorrow, and you're on the phone trying to tell them, "Hey, everything is okay now. We're back on track. I got a job." And they're like, "It doesn't matter. You're 90 days on your car. And sir, there's nothing you can do. We have to take it." And then by some miracle, you say, "But if I make the entire payment right now, can I save the car?" If you pay the entire payment right now, then yes, we will call off the repo. And then you make that payment, and then your spouse says to you, I understand why you did that, but we needed that money for this, and now this is going to bounce, and this is going to bounce, right? And then eventually everything is okay a few months later, right? Because you have a job. So that's where we were June 2nd. We were able to say, phew, we've got revenue coming back in again. But we haven't had any income coming in since March 1st, right? And that's the blip, essentially, on top of a couple of other things. Now, we're getting back on track. Every day is getting better, but some people weren't paid, et cetera, et cetera. So if that was how I could explain what it was to have that small win, but we still weren't even anywhere out of the woods.
I also want to recognize that not only is this happening to our company, it's happening to our founders, it's happening to our team members who made sacrifices, it's happening to our affiliates who made sacrifices involuntarily. We recognize that we have some affiliates that their job was promoting for Groove, and they lost their job. And worst, they lost their job and we didn't tell them. So we recognize that all the things that we're all experiencing and all this trouble that we're experiencing, many of you were experiencing as well because of our situation. We talk all the time about how our company is our customers. That's, without you, customers matter because without you, we don't have a company. But we look at you like your partners. And all of the partners were suffering during this time. So,
yeah, and again, this whole transparency communication thing, you got to understand, folks. There's well over 500,000, well over 500,000 users on the platform. We're talking about 350 affiliates, right? And so, and the only people that would have anything quote unquote to complain about would be affiliates because they want to get paid. And they go to the help desk and want to get paid, and they're not getting an answer. And they write something in the Facebook group, and it gets deleted. And then they go somewhere else and create another Facebook group, and everybody gets there. And so, one of the things that I was saying is, I was like, and I say that because I saw somebody get on here and say, "Oh, I just signed up for Groove a week ago. I didn't know there were any problems." Right. And so one of the things I said is, "Hey, we have to come clean about this. Basically, for 350, 400 people, right? That that we owe money to, and we have to let the other 500,000 plus 700,000 plus people know something that they didn't necessarily need to know." But as Donna kept saying to me was, "Mike, they know because other people are talking about it. It's like the word is being spoken about by those 350 people, and they have the loudest voice, right?" So moving back on, we're going to talk about traffic, what we've done, for traffic, and how we've lost traffic as well. And that would be basically what I would say is our affiliate traffic, right? Man, I remember we tried to do what we could always do. Hey, we could always do this, and let's go. We could bring in $300,000-$400,000. We could bring in $500,000. So we worked really hard on this offer about 3 months ago, and we went on a live stream to launch it. And you guys kicked our butts, right? Who are we asking to promote? Our affiliates that we owed money. And man, I remember I literally had to start wiping sweat off here and doing the pretending I'm not reading the comments. And the comments are like, how dare you not pay us our commissions and then have the nerve to come and ask us to promote something again. Lost all faith in Groove. And so that was what it was like, all right, well, live streams don't work. And we don't have our affiliates anymore, who are the lifeblood of one of our traffic sources. So guys, I laugh about this because how I want you to realize it was a comedy of errors. How foolish
we talked about denial in the document, and at this point in time, you were deep in denial. I remember planning this launch and saying to you, Mike, this launch isn't going to make any money. Mike, we don't even want to have an affiliate contest. Like, this is not going to, we're not going to get these results. Maybe we'll get this much. And well, I think that's the point where I'm not sure that you realized just how unhappy the marketplace was at the time.
Yeah. Well, denial, right? Head in the sand. I spoke about it. I couldn't go into the Facebook group. I refused to go into the Facebook group. because I didn't want to see what was being said. I was getting
You
enough
don't want to face
screenshots
it.
from the team, right?
All right,
It was
we've
just a shitty
all
time.
walked
Yeah.
past the sink of dishes like this, so we don't have to see the pile of dishes in the
Yeah.
sink. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing, like, I'll just, to give you the comedy of what was going on, it was like, so should we do prizes for this launch? Before we knew that, like, we were going to get yelled at so much. Well, prizes motivate affiliates. It's like, but how do you go out and say you're going to give a $5,000 prize when that could go and pay 30 affiliates, right? Where are your priorities? Shouldn't you just pay those affiliates? It's like, well, if we do the prizes, we'll make more money, and then we can go back and pay the affiliates. So just letting you know, when it sucks, it sucks. There's no right answers sometimes, right? So, but again, we're on the road to recovery. We've got basically the faucet shut off, and we were dying of thirst for 3 months, and we turned the faucet back on, and now we just have to put the weight back on our body. All right, so we're going to talk about advertising. There's going to be some good lessons to learn there as well. David Lemon said something to me. Here's my nickname. Me and Donna call me in the company Rogue One. He said, "Do not talk about AI on this." Well, the only thing I'm going to tell you is that in about 2 weeks, or maybe sooner, we want to do an AI live stream for you and how we're using it in our company. And I'm not talking about how we're going to develop AI in Groove. That's something that we want to get to, but cart before the horse, right? But we want to talk about it in terms of what you should be doing in content creation and how we're doing it in Groove. We have a thread in our company that is blowing up with, "Oh my God, I can't believe, look what I did." And then everybody else says, "Wow." And so our level of being blown away about what AI is going to be able to, is currently doing, and will do for our company for content creation, we want to share that with you. So that's going to be one of our welcome back live streams. And we're going to talk about everything. I've gone down the rabbit hole with this stuff, and implementing it in our company is an exciting thing. And then I might even bring on my good friend. And when I say good friend, this guy he's flying from Christmas to spend Christmas with us. Matt Stafford from BGS, Build, Grow, Scale. If you haven't heard of BGS, Build, Grow, Scale, Matt Stafford, go look him up. He is one of the smartest guys I've ever seen. We love Matt so much. He was one of the people that we brought to Brazil, and he was there with Rich Sheffrin and John Benson and Jay Abraham and all the other incredible people that we invited. And John shared something in a bus ride on how they're doing SEO with artificial intelligence and the results that they're having, that we had him represent it back to us, and we took notes. So I'm not allowed to share that with you because it would be unfair to him. So I'm going to get him on to share it with you. So that'll be coming soon, the next couple of weeks. Maybe, since he's going to be here for Christmas, maybe we'll do something right around a couple of days before Christmas, a couple of days after Christmas while he's in town. We'll do a podcast with him. So if you guys are excited about that, let me know. The AI and learning from Matthew Stafford. Next, we're going to talk about our new mastermind and our internal sales team. We're going to talk about why that's so key, important to Groove and its future, because Groove never had a high ticket back end. And if anybody knows anything about me, I've always been against high ticket for the sake of high ticket, right? I would say, people would be like, "Mike, we can put a call center together and put together 25K and 40K offers." It's like, well, what do they get? And then you look at the curriculum and you're like, come on, guys, this is, basically an accountability session with, resale rights products. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. And I'm not poo-pooing on high ticket. I'm poo-pooing on it's easy to create an offer. It's difficult to fulfill. So what we've done is we put together a mastermind. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But the value of what we're going to be including with that is going to be something that we're excited to bring to every new member that signs up for Groove, and past, present, and future. And man, are we excited about that. The next is the health of GrooveDigital financially. Let's not bury the lead here on this one. I think it's important for you guys to hear this. So we'll jump here right now. you know, if we go over, to the browser here, we hit the refresh button. This is today. Let's see where we're at. If I have to log in, it's 3 o'clock. We brought in 9,800, for the day already, which again, our days of glory were, $20,000 to $25,000. I'm not going to come here and tell you that we're doing $20,000 to $25,000 every day. Once a week, we might hit 22,000, maybe twice a month, I should even say. And there are days that we, because, we have a high price offer. If it's a weird Sunday and something's going on, holiday, and, I log in and I see 2,500, I'm like, what? No, that's got to be a stale screen. And I refresh and it's 11 o'clock at night. We brought in 2,500 for the day. But, on average, we're bringing in, somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 a day. So we have 3 levels of revenue in the company. We have, what we make from the software app. We have what we make from GroovePay, and what we make from GrooveDigital Presents, which is a significant portion of income for us. On average, the average is about $50,000 to $60,000, and we do, three of those a month. So we're bringing in a good 200,000 there. So we're doing about $500,000 a month in regular income right now. And then, traditionally our companies would do a couple of launches a year that would bring $2 million, but that's, that would never have carried the company in the past, never. But now we've gotten our expenses down to about, 350,000, but then we have to add in our affiliate expenses on our paid advertising. And that brings us somewhere to around break even. And guys, being in break even is not going to get, affiliates paid their back pay. Right. So there has to be a goal to grow, and the goal to grow is in scaling our advertising. We talk about that in the report. It's the flywheel. The advertising are going to get us more people we can talk to about the mastermind. The mastermind is going to increase our dollar per sign up, which means we could spend more in advertising. And we see that next year should be a $25 million year for the company. And expanding on past that is really just something that you put on a pitch deck for investors. It's like, how the hell are you forecasting 2026? Let's be real, right?
Barely forecast tomorrow.
Yeah, but guys, just know that in the metaphor that we spoke about before, that things were good, you had a good job, making 150 grand a year, you lost your job. Things got really bad because you were out of work for 4 months, and now you got your job back. You're making 150,000 a year. Okay, great. So things are good. You have money coming in, but you're dealing with the problems of the blip. All right, and we still are, right? We still are, but getting better every day. All right, affiliate program and status. Again, I'm going through the table of contents and using that more as a summary, but we will drill down a little bit more. But I want to talk about the key points so we don't bury the lead in any of these bullet points. And so the status of the affiliate program is this: that we're going to try to make sure that we get square with all of our affiliates in the fourth quarter, in the first quarter. And any new sales that we do will go immediately into a quote unquote escrow sort of situation to make sure that you guys get paid on time. And I also want to say this, because this is really important, because Groove Brazil has a technology that we're going to be adopting, and Groove Brazil is doing more of the Hotmart model. And what Groove Brazil has already programmed that we don't in ours that we're going to be doing is they have a separate bank account, literally a separate bank account that the funds for affiliates automatically get deposited in there. And then the agreement is that those funds cannot be used for anything else, right? So then when you go to take out of your wallet, it automatically comes from there. So we're going to be programming that into Groove as well, so that as soon as any money comes in from an affiliate, it's going to go into a bank account that we control, but it doesn't go into our accounting. Right. So, and we're going to give you the ability to do self-withdrawals. So that is something that is coming. Don't give us a date, because we've got to get development into that. And we need the guy from Groove Brazil to do that. So I'm going to throw this out there. And so just hear this out. My partners don't know this, but I think it'll probably bring a smile to like Donna's face, right? By coming clean with you guys and letting you know that any new payments are going to go into an escrow for you, and that our goal is to pay you back in the first quarter of next year. What I would entertain doing, and not something that would be in the video, hey, JV partners and affiliates, this is why we're doing this. But I would love to do a launch where we commit to, of course, paying you the affiliate commissions that you do from the launch, but also making a commitment that 100% of that revenue that comes in from the launch goes to paying back the back payment of the affiliates, right? So, if we were to go out and do literally an $800,000 launch, that would, just completely solve the entire situation. And Groove wouldn't get any of that money, but we need to generate money to pay the affiliates. So that's, one of the options that you have. Donna, I'm sure you'd be okay with something like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, why not, right? Yeah. So everybody gets paid. And then this stuff right here is next week, right? State of the software development. One thing that I'm not going to make you wait until next week is we have a key person, in the company. I'm not going to mention his name because we're just going to be talking about health. You guys can infer, you'll probably know who he is. But it was the keyest of the key person in our development. The main architect of the company. You hear me say his name every single time. That we're on a live stream. Hey, so-and-so, can you look into this? Yes, Mike, we will fix that right away. Well, he's been suffering from some really, really significant health issues. And by doctor's orders, and not just doctor's orders. I mean, literally, there's some things going on with tests. They don't always know what's wrong. And he's had to take a leave of absence from the company. Now, it's going to be a minimum of 3 months. It could be a year. And there's a possibility, and not a good possibility. We don't want that, right? Because it's involving health. Him coming back to the company would mean good things in health. There's a possibility that he may not come back in that capacity, right? And that kind of sucked because there's an expression when you talk about key people in a company. There are time tellers and there are clock makers. You always want clock makers, right? Clock makers are people that come in and put in systems. And, if they were to leave, they're, like, hey, I set you up with systems. These things will run forever. And clock makers you're duplicating the process to tell time. A time teller is somebody that can just look up at the sun and say, I believe that right now it is 2:56. You're like, how do you do that? Hey, I'm a savant with these different things. So in that sense, this key person was a time teller for us. And when he had to leave pretty quickly, we talked to him on Skype and he helps answer our questions. But not having access to this person because of the stress that the work environment could cause him health-wise. When your time teller is gone and they're the only person that on the back end that did these different type of things that would take 5 minutes now take 5 days, right? We have to go in deep into the system, find out where those things were. Again, these are lessons learned, even though that, this person is quote unquote a person that is fixed into the company, if you know what I mean, will be with us forever. We never anticipated, what we call in the business, the hit by a bus syndrome, right? Have you ever guys considered what happens if Mike gets hit by a bus, right? Those questions are important all the time. So that's all we're going to say on that, other than we're going to talk about the state of development next week. But I do want everybody to know that when we were on fire, man, it was so easy being a startup. We could be cool being reckless. What are some of those expressions? Move fast, break things, right? That's great for a startup. Those things, the chickens come home to roost in 2 to 3 years, right? And so if you guys haven't noticed, what we're doing more is we're focusing more now on the 10 core apps that we have: Groove Funnels, Groove Pages, Groove Mail, Groove Sell, Groove Affiliate, Groove Video, Groove Cart. Groove Proof, Groove Auto Webinar, et cetera, et cetera. And, we realize it's really good to get things out there that are 80%. And you guys were all excited. Oh, wow, this works. And it worked. But it needed to get finished. It needed to get polished. And so Malal, yeah, I can't comment on that, because like it's health situations. But I'll say this, and I'm losing my train of thought so easily. What was I just saying, Donna?
Well, I don't know. I don't know, because when you derail, I derail too. I immediately went to Malal to find out what chat
I know
you
what
were
it was.
reading.
Yeah, it's what I want to prepare people about next year for software development. Hate us or love us, guys. I'm telling you, this is transparency. This is about resources. We have dreams. We have goals. We have future apps. We have the live stream. We have the help desk. We have funnel mapping and sales flows and all these different things. I'm going to tell you this.
Calendar.
The calendar. Those things are going to wait because GrooveMail needs to get perfect. And anybody that is using GrooveMail will say, thank God you just said that. So we're not going to be fluffing you guys up with prototypes. I don't want to say those days are gone. We've got the prototypes. We just can't get to them right now. So be prepared for most of 2023 to be all about perfecting the current apps. And 2024 is when we're going to start development on the future apps, the other 4 to 6 apps that are still yet to be complete. Now, some of you may not like that, but I think if you're on this call, I think you're going to understand that, yeah, hey, Mike, I need a page builder. I need to sell my products, have an affiliate program. I need to do email marketing, get those core things right. I can deal without a funnel mapping software right now. Funnelytics exists. And so so John James Santangelo probably says, yes, thank God for fixing GrooveMail, right? So you guys are with us, right? Like I said, in the first couple of years, we're going to build this, we're going to build this, we're going to build this, and here's a prototype and all those different things. And, we poured money back into the development. We were moving fast, but, we want to have a polished app. And so I want to talk about our friends over at ClickFunnels that are, realizing, the same things. If people go back and they watch the original thing that, the founder Russell said about the new ClickFunnels 2.0, it was supposed to be launched before Funnel Hacking Live last year. And then they moved the dates to launching it at Funnel Hacking Live last year. I'm talking 2021. And then at Funnel Hacking Live in 2021, they said that they're launching, they said they were going to launch ClickFunnels 2.0 there, but then they couldn't meet the deadline. And so then they said they were launching it in November. And then they moved it to December. And then they moved it to March, but it would be a beta. And then they launched it in September, a year later, at Funnel Hacking Live as a beta and a cautionary. Now, understand, guys, this is a new software, right? So did we lose the stream? Oh, we're back. So
we didn't lose
understand that. Okay. Understand that, software companies realize this. It's really nice to say we're going to build this, but building it, you have to get there. And then, we always say that the two most difficult days, the best day and the worst day of your life is launching a new software platform. Because you launch something that you think is great and everybody's excited about it. And then 7,000 tickets come in the help desk and you realize, oh, well, I guess we can't work on this until we fix this. So that's our dedication to Groove. Is to
Jam. When we launched Webinar Jam, that was that was the
version
worst
4.0. It had to be done 4 times, right? So we are committed in 2023 to just continue to make the solid foundation of the current app. And then and when that is perfect and we've got no more features to put anywhere and everything is working perfect and the UI is great and all these beautiful things that we have planned, then we're going to go in and we're going to focus on the future apps. And then we have a solid foundation where we will just do calendar. And then we will just do the help desk, et cetera, et cetera. Also, I'm not going to read that one, Jason, because I'm not a cocky old Groove would be out there beating up on ClickFunnels, but they're having a tough time right now with the loss of an important member. And if they're only dealing with what we're dealing with in terms of development, well, hey, those things happen. Software isn't easy. And I'll tell you what, they're not the ones that had a bad year financially. We are. So I'm not gonna revel in anything. I wish them luck. And I've always said there'll be Coke and Pepsi, and I think we're going to satisfy the flavor better for you. So yeah,
Deb
so that's
said,
it.
I wanted to highlight, Deb said, you're making Groove great again. And I have to tell you, I tried to mock up a MGGA hat this morning with one of the Groove hats.
Gotta make it in pink because
I was. That's exactly it. I think we need a pink MGGA hat in the Groove Gear store.
Yeah, let's do that. Make Groove great again. I love that. Thanks, Deb. We should have a mock-up contest, but it's just 4 letters.
Yeah. I couldn't make 4 letters work with construction paper and a hat. So yeah. I honestly tried it earlier today.
Yeah, we'll use the AI to do it. Next is we're going to talk briefly next week about Groove Pay, Groove Brazil, Groove Latin America. That should be LATAM, capital AM. We were told by somebody.
And Groove Asia was also added to that. It didn't make it into this version.
Groove Asia, yeah, and the Grooveplex Studio we're going to talk about. So we'll just jump that in there as well. And roadmap for what's coming in 2023 and 2024. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hit the mute bar. I'm going to go do my little bio break after the first hour because I'm hydrating. I'll let Donna comment on some of the stuff that we said, and I'll be back in just a minute.
All right. So I am greatly enjoying the chat right now. I see that there are a lot of people that are, giving us their full support and appreciating the transparency. And those of you that know me know just how happy I am today to be finally able to talk about all of this with you and feel like I can get back into the community. We're going to go over more of it. We're just hanging out and more specific things that have gone on. But I want to tell you about what I've been working on behind the scenes. Because as we had cash flow issues, and if you've ever had cash flow issues, sometimes you go to work and you sit there and you go, well, how do we get out of this? And you wonder, how am I going to get out of this? And every day, and some days you close the computer at the end of the night and you turn it off and you go, well, I don't know the answer yet. And the next day you go back to it. Maybe this is the answer. Maybe this is the answer. And I just kept thinking over and over again, we get 300 new free users every single day. How do we improve converting them into paid Groove users? And the way to do that is through more support, more training, more information, really more hand holding. So one of the things that we're rolling out, and I know Mike will get into it, but I started talking about it, so I'll keep until Mike comes back. And Mike, when you want to come back, go ahead and just add yourself to the stream again. I absolutely am delighted to say that we have a call center now that will start calling every single free member who joins, offering them a one-on-one onboarding to help them get their account set up. Things like setting up an email sender, getting the custom domain set up, getting all of their affiliate information done so that they can get paid, really taking you by the hand and helping you through the system. We have so many things like that planned because this month for me has been focused on showing the customers that they really do matter. And that is 2023 for me. I am going to spend so much of my time, efforts, and energy on showing you how much we really do love you. So I don't even know all the surprises I have for you this year. So welcome back, Mike.
Thanks. I probably should have went off camera. You saw me looking over here and
I did.
bursting out and trying to hold out from literally LOLing.
Because Bloggy pooped?
No.
Oh.
So David writes, I just popped in for literally for a minute. And, my brain, because of my cat, read, I just pooped literally for a minute. I'm like, what is he writing? And then I realized he says, I just popped in. So David writes this. I just popped in on literally for 1 minute to check how things were rolling or not. And I hear Mike talking about AI, and I'm like, no, because he said, Mike, whatever you do, don't go down the AI rabbit hole on this call. And so he comes in for 30 seconds and he hears me talking about AI. So no, David, we're not, if you're still listening, we're not going down that rabbit hole. Speaking of AI, just kidding. All right. Look, I think we've covered everything, right? And I'm not about to, pop off the call here, but the table of contents, we covered everything. So I'm going to go through this report page by page, and if I see something, we're gonna just talk about it from here. But at this point, you guys pretty much got the gist of it, which is really, really good because we're an hour into this, and we pretty much covered what we need to. If you haven't read the report, but I would much rather you also read the report if you haven't, but it's not necessary now at this point. But the report just goes into a little bit more depth. So let's share that again, and we'll make that larger. All right. And so we're at the introduction right now, and so the introduction basically was saying, hey, Groove always took pride in the fact that we did every 4 months, we would do the state of the Groovions, pretty much like clockwork. And then this year we haven't done one since I think, January, so you can say that we got 2 in for the year and we only missed 1, but come on, that's not the case. We've been gone. And that sucks for us. And then how do we come to terms and square the fact that we like to say that we're a company of transparency, and that's the whole reason of the state of the Groovion is to peel back the curtain, and then we're really hypocrites. I don't want to say hypocrites, but the fact of the matter is we were cheerleaders. We only want to do a state of the Groovion when times are good, and and doesn't everybody, right? You only want to come out and talk about what's good. Right. You can imagine a president, isn't going to come up and talk about their failures at their State of the Union. And so that's what the introduction was here. And then the next thing was this little story about Mark Twain. Was that Mark Twain had gotten ill. And wasn't the days of social media and television and things. News traveled slowly, but got tattooed because it was harder to change once the word got out. And so the rumor got out that he passed away from illness. Now Dan Kennedy had used the same thing when the rumor got out that he passed away. The truth is, you ask 50% of the marketing community if Dan Kennedy is still around. You're going to get this answer. I think so. I'm not sure. Maybe he was okay, but then he later passed away. Like people, like that's what happened. From Dan Kennedy being on the brink of death, and then I forget who it was. One of his close friends wrote a "Rest in Peace, Dan Kennedy," because they were told the night before it doesn't look like Dan's going to make it, and then nobody heard anything for a couple of weeks, and then Dan Kennedy, when he got better, released, no, he's still around. Right. So these words here are only something, that, someone like Mark Twain, a satirist, can come up with. There's so much humor in this line. The reports of my death are greatly exaggerated. Right. And so the joke here is the greatly exaggerated. Right. You're either dead or you're not. So it's not like there's certain levels of death. Like, well, look, I was dead, but you guys have exaggerated just a little bit. So the whole thing just goes on to say that it's not only the statement should have been or not true. Right. The reports on my death are not true, but greatly exaggerated means there's some truth to it. That he died, but it's been exaggerated. So I don't know, when you unpack that, it's pretty funny. So we were talking about making a subject line or the title of the report, right, instead of the state of the Groovion. The reports of our death have been greatly exaggerated. right? And what the reason why we thought that would be a good hook was because there were rumors out there that were flying. This is when I finally had to, face it and say, Donna and David Lemon and others in the company saying to me, Mike, they're saying we're going out of business. There are people right now selling their lifetime accounts for 500 because, it's like a crashing stock. They think they're going to get anything that it's worth. And I was like, all right, how are we going to do this? Are we going to do a live stream? Or we're going to do a report? Or we're going to do both? And to be frank with you, it's much better to do these things in writing. It gives you an opportunity to really flush these things out and get out what you want to say and get feedback and find out where you went off the rails. And when something is in writing, people understand that, hey, I can't tell you, get to the point. I see this is 23 pages or whatever it is. And you have the ability when you put something in writing, as opposed to copywriting, where you might need to get to the point quicker, where you could give the whole story, and that's the point. And if we would have done this on a live stream like today, there would have been a lot of just the chat blowing up, right? Like,
so what does this mean? To the points.
Yeah, get to the point. What does this mean? When are we getting paid? Are you guys going out of business, right? It would not have been the way to do a standard State of the Groovion. Thank you, Donna. Right, exactly. More get to the point. So that was the purpose of this. As we said here, people were saying, hey, I think they shut down the help desk. I think Groove is finally shut down. So then we put it here. The reports of our demise have been greatly exaggerated. And then we talk about the blip. All right. And so, we wanted to keep this, we wanted to stay away from doom and gloom in the report. So by putting little things in here, like let's get in the DeLorean and go back in time, we wanted to let you know that we're here, we're happy, we're healthy, we go to work every day, and we're not putting out fires anymore. We're actually back to building a company, because we've got to get to work, and it's tough for me to get to work. It's tough for Donna to get to work. It's been tough for Simone, everybody in the company. It's been tough to say, I got to go in and still go and create offers and write copy and make videos and everything when you're just, you're getting kicked in the butt, when you wake up and you're seeing the Skype messages, right? But winners and losers, right? These are the things that, knock on wood, we're still here. So let's get in the DeLorean, go back in time. It's now, February of 2022. I remember the Oscars were about a month after this. And I remember what somebody said to Will Smith. I think it was Denzel Washington. And it was such a profound statement that I felt like that was meant for me to hear. So, yeah. So I'm actually saying Chris Rock got slapped in the face so I could learn a lesson. No. But the lesson that Denzel Washington said to Will Smith backstage when he had just won the Oscar, but an hour before that, he had slapped Chris Rock. And he said, son, the devil, he doesn't come after you on your bad days. He comes after you when you're on top. And so, you literally got Will Smith winning his first Oscar. It's a great achievement. And there was a bigger defining career situation that happened, right? And so I bring that up because I said on a call to the partners, GroovePay was growing so fast, 400 grand, 500 grand. We were on track to do $700,000 in profit in just GroovePay in the following month. And we were doing our launch for the ending of the lifetime, which was going to be our biggest launch ever. It was going to bring in $2.5 million that we're estimating, somewhere around there. It did bring in. And then we're going to have this extra money from the launch. We've got this money coming in from GroovePay. Yeah, let's do this. Let's get that stadium suite. Let's go all in on Brazil and, developers, and let's add this, whatever we need, because we're still going to be profitable at the end of the day by hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We were so profitable. We were making decisions such as deciding not to purchase a particular software and walking away from all the money that we had invested into it at that point. because we didn't really need it. We didn't need the money at the time. So that's
And the
where we're
distraction,
going
yeah.
into this position, you know, and
Yeah.
having the rug pulled out of us.
Yeah, we were about to win our Academy Award and just realizing how many movie deals we're going to get. You know, once I get this Academy Award, I'm going to get that movie that's going to pay me $25 million. So, honey, go buy that house in Malibu. You know, that's kind of like, you know, where we were. So just a quick question there for the Facebook user says, is GroovePay fully working again? Yes, it's fully working again. But you know, the payment partner that we had last time, you know, we have a good relationship with them again. And we're looking to get back with them. They're actually entertaining that. So we didn't want to mention their name in here because when we talk about the bad that happened, you know, we just didn't want to have that in writing. But, you know, there's you know, two big players, you know, in the game, you know, when you go, you know, there's PayPal and there's another company, right, that people go with processing with. And they were backing us until they weren't, right? So we're now backed by Stacks Payments, and we're fully integrated. Everything is the same. The only difference is Stacks doesn't do international. So we've been struggling where the other company allowed us to sign anybody in any company that, you know, wasn't on the bad naughty list. But yeah, so having said that, the other magical thing that was going to happen was we were now going to be launching the new website with the recurring model. So, you know, picture us, you know, with our, you know, like that guy in When Nature Calls, Jim Carrey. Yes, things are so great right now. And so we're going to do this launch. And our GroovePay is doing very, very well. And we're launching Groove Brazil. And look who's coming out. And we're going to go to recurring. Things are looking just so good. And, you know, Denzel Washington came up and just whispered in my ear and said, beware, son. You know, devil doesn't come after you on your bad days. He comes after you on the good days when you're on top. And if you want to know, like, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Like, our payment partner held our money during our launch. So first of all, any good money that we could have used from the launch that we desperately needed in those following months was being held. As you know, companies like to hold your launch money, the payment companies. That's what happens, right? Well, we're going to put a reserve. We slap you with a reserve. So that was number one. Number two, that same company was doing something called a PayFac model. And PayFac is two words out of the words payments and facilitator. And let's put it this way. Shopify is not in the merchant processing business. They have a PayFac. They're a payment facilitator backed by Stripe. So behind Shopify Payments is Stripe. Stripe is the boss, right? And behind Stripe's boss is MasterCard and Visa Card. And behind MasterCard and Visa Card, their boss is the government of different countries that they deal with, right? So these things flow down, right? And then down the line from there would be like a GroovePay. And then down the line from there is you. And we say, no, you can't do this, right? So there's levels to these things. And so we were told by that payment partner that they are they're moving in a different direction. They're looking to go public, and these things carry higher risk. And, you know, they have a couple of key partners they're going to keep on, and we're not one of them. We later come to find out, now that they're talking to us again, that they put us into, they threw the baby out with the bathwater. We were in the high risk model, but we were the only ones that were doing it right, so to speak. About 4 of us out of about, I don't even know, but, you know, I know just the people that we knew was about 16 to 20. So that happened 3 days after the launch, when our money is being held, and now we're losing the ability. We have to shut down this ability that's bringing in $500,000 to $700,000 a month. And we didn't believe it was going to happen. We had a call with them, and they got postponed. And we got a call with them, and then we spoke with this person, get this person. And then finally, when we got on with the people, schmoozing Mike Filsaime got on there and said, look, I just want to let you know. So we're doing this, and this is our business model. And I think we have a great partnership. You have to understand, we're also you're in the app, right? And it wouldn't be a good thing, for the word to get out there that people shouldn't use fill in the blank because they'll shut you down at any time. You got to understand, when you're shutting us down, you're shutting down 800,000 other users that are on GroovePay, and we're going to tell them that it was you. And I didn't say it like that. And I said, you know, we don't want this PR nightmare, and we're good. And so they let me talk for about 20 minutes. And at the end, the person was Indian, and I can't help but talk about the way that I heard people, and it was with a very strong Indian accent, but I won't do it. But it was basically, Mr. Filsaime, we heard everything that you had to say. I don't understand what is not clear. We are not here to talk to you about relationships and all of these different things. Everything that we said in the letter to you stands. You have 24 hours to get all of your people off, and there's nothing left to say. And that was essentially it. And we were off the call 2 minutes later. They were like, this is not about relationships. This is about risk. What do you understand that we're not in this business model anymore? And then we got off the phone and we're like, Matt, that's it. We've lost the ability to do GroovePay without being a undercount writer for, you know, taking applications and farming them out. So we started talking with Stacks Payments, and guess how that went? Oh, we could code to this in 2 weeks. Oh, great. Good. So don't tell anything to the GroovePay people. Just took 3 months. And by that time, we lost all of our GroovePay users. You know, they had to go get processing somewhere else, and we had to go rebuild that company. So by $500,000, you know, in income. Matt told me yesterday, GroovePay did 20 grand last month, right? So it's easily got that in salaries, you know. So that affected us, right? Because here's the thing you got to remember: when we bring in money in Groove, if we bring in $1,000, well, we have to factor in a refund rate. We have to factor in 35% of most of our money goes to affiliates, and then we also pay for advertising. And we also pay for staff and developers and marketing and, like, you know, the entire company, right? When you look at GroovePay, it has 2 employees. And so when we bring in $100,000, $99,999 is essentially profit. We don't have to pay affiliates. We don't do advertising for it. So $700,000 in GroovePay was very different than $700,000 in Groove. And so we were using that money to funnel back in. It was all into GrooveDigital. So that money went back in and allowed us to put pedal to the metal. That money's gone. So we had a lot of staff on the team that still were relying on us, but we lost that income. And we had money in the bank, and again, we thought we would fix it, and we didn't fix it fast enough. The offer didn't work. We're being distracted by traveling to Brazil and all these different things, and not putting 100% effort into the new website and the new offer. And then, so now 60 days later, we launched the new offer, and it tanked. And then took another 60 days. So we went 4 months basically making $800 a day, $1,000 a day. So, you know, we had about 1.8 million in the bank. When your expenses are 900,000, 700,000, 800,000, even though you're cutting every single month, in 3 months, you're out of money. In 4 months, you're 700,000 in debt. And when you're in debt, guys, and anybody that's ever had personal financial problems or this in business understands that when you owe this, and this, and the rent's got to get paid at the studio and all these different things, we got to make payroll. And now Groove brings in 20,000 for the day. Every single day in the Skype channel is, hey, can we pay this? This affiliate, we really should pay him, blah, 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 this, that. They're starting to get really upset. All right, well, we can pay the rent. We could do this, 7 grand here. And then you find yourself, this will have to wait. But we have to make sure that we save money for payroll. Well, if we pay this, we're not going to be able to make payroll. And all those different lousy conversations happen. Like I said, it's like having a job, losing it for 4 months, and then getting your job again. So we were dealing what we call with whack-a-mole. Every day, put out fires. What's the most pressing issue until we can build money back into the bank? It just friggin' sucks. Me and Donna didn't want to get off those friggin' calls where everybody's coming into lobby to say this needs to get paid, but only 3 out of 5 of them are going to get paid. This has to wait till tomorrow. And then we didn't want to go to work. Certainly do live streams with you guys, right? Fuck it, let's just work hard. Let's just get out of this hole. We'll get back to the old days. When you think it's going to be 30 days and it's 4 to 5 months, it's not fun. But then, if you're hearing one thing that I said, if we pay this, then we're not going to be able to make payroll. When we weren't telling you guys the truth, we weren't telling the employees the truth. So you got to remember, we're showmen. We're getting out there. Hey, everybody, it's Mike Filsaime, and today we want to show you, and this is what's going on in Groove. The employees thought everything was great. Every employee thought things were great for a long time.
Yeah. I remember once we started being more open with the employees, a couple of them came to me and said,
After
I had
layoffs.
no idea any of this was going on.
Yeah. It happens when you lay off, you do your first round of layoffs, then your second round, and then it's all right, this is what we should have done the first time. But what happens is you don't have the bravery to do something the first time because the person that you're about to say goodbye to just got married and is pregnant, or there's a wedding coming up. And you were just having conversations with them the other day about this and that, and now you're telling them, yeah, no, effective immediately. Sorry. I thought everything was going. Now they take it personally because they think everything is going good with Groove. So then by the time you make it to the third round and you're letting go of the key people that are key people in the company that should never have been said goodbye to.
Oh, an unfortunate time for me to laugh. I just laughed there. I did not mean that to any of the key people that we've let go. I laughed at Jim saying, there's a game called Whack-A-Mole. It's supposed to be fun. Like that's such an accurate description of what was happening there playing Whack-A-Mole. Yeah.
So guys, I'm not here. This isn't a pity party. This is a lesson about, being overconfident. That was a big theme in here, So I say this because it was a lousy year for us at Groove. I got to tell you, I know that there are conversations with me and Donna and me and Matt. We all know we're having a bad day, and we start nitpicking over definitions of words. But I just want to give my point of view, and then we start realizing if I try to win this stupid battle, which I might not even win, right? Or just even express my opinion, I might drive this person to tears. That's how fragile days could be in the company, because you just had a harder conversation before, and now you're trying to say, no, actually, that was July 2nd, not June 2nd. Like, does that even need to be said, right? But then they say, no, it was June, and now you're getting into the, well, let me check my calendar, stuff. And I got to tell you, the foundation that the partners have, that we made this through this, you could do a metaphor about a relationship. Relationships are much better. Husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, significant other and significant other, when money is there. You take money out of that situation, even a strong foundation of love can be brought down by bad finances. And so I'm happy to say that this partnership team knew, based on wisdom, and wisdom comes only with age, and being around the block and dealing with things, get your ego in check, understand how you're going to take a strong position and when not to, and when to listen, and all those different things. We did the best that we could. As Donna said, I dealt with the people that I had to deal with. I would talk to Rich Sheffrin, let him know what's going on. I would talk to, different people that needed to know, our top 20 affiliates, Mark Ling. I reached out to different people and I let them know what's going on. But other than that, I cocooned myself in layers of, on the team. And Donna would get a lot of people, a lot of people that would say things like, Mike, I just want to let you know, people are saying this, and and then she would give better answers than I would. I would start getting defensive. Well, and she would say just this one little thing. Do you not think we're doing our best? Right? Do you not think that we're doing our best? We know this is tough, but we're doing our best. Like we're not. I look. John bought a house. Remember, see, now this makes more context, right? He bought a house when, he was about to win the Academy Award, right? We thought things were good. John didn't live in his house for 4 months. He was living out of like this rental while his kitchen was being done because he was doing renovations. So John posted a picture of his kitchen and a long story about how he hadn't been able to live in the house. Do you know that that post was deleted 5 minutes later? Do you know why? Because I told John, you shouldn't be posting that you just redid your kitchen when we owe affiliates money. And he was like, yeah, you're right. But you understand. And I was like, John, I get it, but it's a bad look. We have this prepaid for executive suite at the Miami Dolphins game. And we're inviting VIPs out there because that's what we got it for. And they're taking pictures. And you know what I say to them? Do me a favor. Don't tag me on social media. Now, they would be like, why? And I'd be like, well, I'm just a private guy. All right. And some of you, Felicia Pagish, Deb Cole, many of you that sent me these personal notes saying, Mike, I had no idea that was going on. But you all have heard me say, do me a favor, don't post me on social media. Why? And then I would say, well, you know, I'm a private guy. The truth is, I never wanted to be appearing that I'm out at a sushi restaurant, at a speaker dinner, holding up a champagne. That mother effer out there living his life. What did it cost for him to fly to Traffic and Conversion Summit? I bet he's buying dinner. Look at that, popping champagne. Why don't you pay your affiliates? Right? These things got in my head. I didn't want to be seen having a good time. I'm going to say this. Might have been Joanne Woloff. Might have been. It could have been. But or somebody in that circle. And I remember being at Funnel Hacking Live. And I came in at night because I was doing networking with a lot of people. So I didn't go to Funnel Hacking Live, but I would drive in, you know, an hour and a half, and I would go and I would do these dinners with different people. And I remember, and Joanne, it probably wasn't you, but it might have been. But I remember somebody just came up to me, and I'm there, imposter syndrome, level 10, acting like nothing's wrong. Hey, Mike, how's it going? And the people that don't know, right? How's Groove going? Yeah, we're doing great. No, great. Don't ask me. Let's move on to another subject. And then I had a couple of people come up to me and go, how's everything? How's everything? And I'd be like, good. Yeah. Everything's good. Thank you. And I would say this. Why are you asking?
Captain Lou. You look like you're channeling Captain Lou right now. Who was on the stream. Hi, Lou.
Yeah. Yeah. So those people knew what was going on because they were talking to internal people on the team. But I'm like, you know, I'm not dealing with this. I don't even know why I came here. You know, Mike, we want you to speak at WebinarCon. Oh, great. I'll be happy to. I get a phone call from the guys at WebinarCon. Mike, we heard this. Is that true? Well, you know, and then at the end of it, you know what I say? Can I ask you a question? Andy, are you asking me to gracefully bow out? Because I had to even like say, is that really what they're trying to do? They didn't want to tell me not to speak. Am I that toxic? And then thank God he goes, no, Mike, everybody has business problems. Just want to know because somebody brought it up. And I said, oh, no, it's okay. Here's what's going on, right? And I probably fluffed it more than it was, right? Now I'd be like, you know, read my report, right? So I'm now, you know, concerned about like what happens when I go to a live event, right? I literally walked with my head, you know, a little bit down, didn't want to make eye contact because I didn't know if I'd be in a group of 5 people and one person would just say something, you know, just not thinking that there might be a mistake and those people are wrong. Just like, you know, you have these fear, right? You play it out in your head. You're at dinner and then somebody's just going at the speaker dinner. Hey, Mike, you know, I heard somebody saying that, you know, affiliates haven't been paid. And I looked at my account and I just saw I haven't been paid in 60 days. Is there anything up to that? Like, these are things that don't happen. Everybody has enough couth to know not to do that to a speaker at a speaker dinner. But in my head, I played this out that it was going to happen every single place that I went. It was just, again, not a pity party for me. Just what my point is, when you're dealing with that, it's just hard to come to work every day. You have to, you know, wipe the dirt off your body, get back up and go to work. And either you do or you don't. You either do or you don't survive, right? And so thank God, you know, we were strong enough to just say, no, hey, this is what makes people great. Not how they act in good times, but their strength and perseverance and how they deal with difficult situations. So, you know, this goes on to say, how, we completely made a big mistake with the main offer. So I'm going to take me and Donna off the camera. I'll make this a little bit bigger. I'll pop it up, make it a little easier on your eyes here. I did the wrong browser. All right. So, when we were doing 20 sales a day at 1997, we do $20,000, for that particular day. Plus we had GroovePay, remember. And also you're dealing with a quote unquote lifetime offer. They're easy to sell. You're not selling the software. Something I came to realize. You're selling an offer. You can basically, it's like a Kickstarter. Don't worry about the software. It's going to be good because I built these things in the past. But think how cool a lifetime deal is. You take this word out of the equation and you have to sell the software. And we needed to have a website that had to get built and show you all of these, features, and copy had to be written and all that. And being frank with you, that we were in Brazil. The first pass, was a get me done, right, Donna? It was just a get me done at that point. And then we put out a pricing matrix. You've seen them. There's a toggle switch for annual and monthly, 99, 199, what you get, and you get this, you don't get this. And remember, we only had 2 accounts before, lifetime and free. But now we introduced 5 plans. And so we had to build that into the coding. And so we had to put our resources into saying that it locks out these templates and all this different type of stuff, only to find out that when we launched and we did this, well, we can't live on 2,000 a day. Well, it will be 20,000. Yeah. Over 24 months. We don't have that time to wait. And guess what?
Let's be clear. We would have been able to live on $2,000 a day if we hadn't had if we hadn't had all of our funds frozen.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. We were prepared to take that hit.
We were prepared to take the hit because we knew it would take a couple of months to get back up to speed. But then they froze the account and held the money. So it's not that the offer failed as much as the offer failed our circumstances.
Yeah,
we still have plenty of people. We have plenty of people paying $99 a month right now for Groove.
Yes, yeah. 25% of our income is coming in from recurring right now. That's good news.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. Because of the fact that we put all of our resources into the launch of the 1997, the marketing team can only do so much. And the effort giving us all a pass, but was a get me done, right? It's like, hey, well, let's launch it. We'll improve it, right? But so we didn't do 20 sales a day, right? We did 5, or Donna, sometimes 1, right? You logged into Groove and you saw $99 revenue. For $99. We actually saw a couple of days. I'd rather have a 0, right? Some days, 0 is like, okay, is there something wrong with the shopping cart?
There's little hope with the 0.
Yeah. The hope with the 0 is something's wrong with the shopping cart. When you see 99, it validates. No, it's working. Nobody's buying.
It's working. You just
laughing about it now, guys, but that's the truth. And we're out of money, or running out of money, and we've got crazy expenses. So this was what we were dealing with, right? So the rest we told you about, GroovePay. Let's talk about the phone call that I had with Roland Frazier. Camera time. No. Stop. Camera time. All right. So I'm in Brazil, keeping my, not letting anybody know that there's a crisis going on. I've got to go on stage. I got to introduce people. Oh, and let me talk to you about imposter syndrome. When you go around, because I was just at WebinarCon, and again, in my head, I see this person looking at me. Oh, there we go. They're going to ask about their commissions. Here it comes. Hey, how you doing? And you know what it is? Mike, I just want to let you know, I bought your 7-figure code, and that was the product that, and oh, what are you doing now? Well, we have a company doing 2.5 million. And they're telling you that like you're the reason for their journey. And let me tell you, it doesn't help when you hear that. You feel like such a fraud, because I just did the stage presentation, but I've got this report I've got to write, right? And you're telling me how great I am. If you only knew, hey, we struggle. Things aren't always, great for,
for everybody all the time. Anyway, so I'm in that frame of mind on the phone with Roland Frazier, acting like everything's great because he wants to use our technology and his partnership with their call center and blah, blah, blah. So, hey, so how does the offer work? How do we get paid? Oh, well, that's the funny thing, Roland. And I just had gone out to dinner with Roland 2 weeks prior at a flight club and, told him what we did the previous year. And he was like, man, I had no idea Groove was, kicking butt and taking names. And remember, I thought we were about to turn things over. I thought this was a 30-day problem, not a 4-month, 5-month problem. So I said, that's the thing, Roland. We had an offer that was doing great. And it was this lifetime offer. And I thought he would be like, well, I get it. It was a lifetime, but you can't run a company with a lifetime offer. And I said, we tried to go to recurring and it's not working. So he wasn't as concerned with why the recurring wasn't working. He said this, wait a second, Mike, you had an offer at $19.97 that was converting at what? And your EPCs were what? And the advertising was working? And you got rid of it? Tell me why you got rid of that. And he says, no, don't answer that. I think I know why. You got rid of it because you think a software company needs to have recurring income to be valued higher if you're going to seek investment and sell it and all those different things, because people want recurring income, right? They want to know that if they buy the business, it's going to have this free money coming in. And I was like, yeah, isn't that true? And he goes, no, Mike, it's true and it's not true, but let's get to what's really happening. Why do investors like a recurring business model? And I gave him 6 answers and he kept saying, no, you're missing the key point. It's one of those things where you're just not getting it, right? I'm not on the same wavelength with what he's trying to get to. And there was only one right answer. And his answer was this. He says, Mike, recurring business models don't mean that the customer will pay you in perpetuity. Still not getting what he's saying. He says, a recurring model allows you to reach a higher what? Valuation? No, Mike, a higher lifetime value of a customer. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is lifetime value. How sticky is your software? How good is your marketing? What do you acquire leads for? These are questions we ask. And we measure that to something called the LTV, the lifetime value of the customer. He says, do you think that Wix and Squarespace and all of these companies, when they get somebody for $29 a month, that person pays for 40 years? No. They have a number called the lifetime value. And based on what that is, how long it takes to get, and what they can do with their advertising. And that's a lot of those things are going to come into the valuation. So he says, my point that I'm making to you, Mike Filsaime, is that you're telling me that you had a lifetime value of a customer at $2,000 and you got it on day one. Now, I can't mention the names, but he said, but I can tell you firsthand, this company, and there are people in our space, they don't have a lifetime value of 2,000. They're valued in the billions. And he says, there's another company, that I know them and I know the founder. They're in our space. And he said, Mike, they're a phenomenal company. And they're just over $1,000 lifetime value. And it takes them months to get that. You were getting it on day one. So why did you get rid of it? Well, and so I told him, I got this really cool thing that I'm doing with the offers. And I showed it to him. And he goes, I like what you're doing. And that's going to work. He goes, but you're still not getting the same amount of money. He says, have you ever considered bringing the lifetime offer back? Wasn't expecting him to say that. I thought it was binary. He said, do both. He said, Mike, do your plans, but raise your lifetime. Raise it from $1,997 to $2,500. And then we did. And then if they don't buy it on the OTO, then we raised it to $2,997. And then the payment plan is 4 payments of $997, which is $4,000. And so stop the press, guys. I just got off a call with Roland Frazier. Here's what he told me to do. And then it was like, you really want to bring back the lifetime? Isn't that kind of like an admission? We got over that real quick. Right?
Hang on, Mike. You're having a little streaming. You're cutting out. So sometimes if you just pause, it'll reset the stream. Yeah. I remember when Mike had this call, and then he called all the partners right afterwards and said, I just got off the phone with Roland Frazier, and I have so much more perspective now on what companies are looking for when it comes to valuation, and this whole thing about bringing the lifetime back and the lifetime value of the customer. It seems so, like all good advice, it's a head slapper. It seems so obvious after you hear it, and had such tunnel vision to this idea of having to end the lifetime and bring, and move to recurring. And now I don't think we'll ever get rid of our lifetime. We'll just keep increasing the price. But
after talking with Roland and realizing that, like, look, if you get somebody at, let's say, $299 a month, and that person pays you 4 years, let's do that. $299 times 48, that's $14,000 that you brought in over 4 years. But now, if you now calculate 2 other people that paid you $299 for a month and then quit, you now have that number of 14,000. You divide it by 3, and it means the lifetime value of that customer is 4,600. And you take that number, 4,600, and you divide that by 12. In your that can't be right. Let me just say, I think I did something. I got 46,000, right? You divide that by 12, and you're starting to see that, like, the cash flow, you want the best of both worlds. The lifetime value is giving us at 2,500. It's giving us a full year of a customer up front. And again, if somebody were to pay for 2 years and then another customer signed up for $299 and canceled the same day, that's the same lifetime value, but it took 2 years to get money out of those 2 customers, where we got it on day 1. And that helps your advertising, right? Because you want to be able to bring in the money right away. Coach does a conversation with Ron Frazier, always equals gold. Absolutely. So that's what happened, guys. We rolled out this new offer with a lot of confidence, because at this time we had reason to be scared, right? This was like, the conversations are, what happens if this doesn't work? And the only answer at this point was, you don't ask that question, because you don't want to know the answer, because there was no answer. We could not have survived another month without revenue. We couldn't go out and got money or investment or anything, because there was no business model. So we put out the business model. And so let me tell you, in my lifetime as a marketer, I haven't worked on an offer so well since probably butterfly marketing. Nothing else mattered. Donna, you remember those days. We had the little crack. We literally called it the crack Ocho team. It was 5 of us. It was writing copy, doing voiceover in Zill. We called it Job 1. Nothing else mattered in the company. Literally, anything I was doing was getting canceled. I was not going to get on any podcast. Nothing. We call it, headphone mode. We went on, and we were. Do I love those days? Because the creativity is coming out. You're starting to see it together. You get more done in 4 days than you do in 4 months when you start working like that.
Hey, Mike.
Donna, were you going to say something?
Yeah, maybe we should cut your video for a little bit. You're definitely having some issues. So I don't know whether you're I'm texting Michelle, and she's saying maybe your computer switched to the other network, or
let me do that.
Yeah, she got off the computer.
Let me just do it. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do a speed test.
And we just, sorry to delay in the middle of this for technical difficulties, but we know how frustrating it is for you guys to listen to him breaking up. So if we can pause and fix it, let's try to fix it.
Yeah, when I'm going
yeah.
That's horrible. And the good news is it didn't happen at the beginning of the stream. It happens towards the end. So no, my internet is good down and up. So all right, but you can hear me now. Let me change my photo to not confuse people.
Oh, yes. You look lovely as Simone.
Exactly. So that's me talking. I was wondering, like, why is Simone in there right now? So all right. So if this works, Donna, great. If it starts becoming a nightmare, we'll wrap it up, because we're doing pretty well. But let's see if me presenting the screen. So affects it because that's sending in, a lot of data as well. Oh, you know what it is? My upload is very low.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm actually not doing all that well. Let me see what
That doesn't look great.
internet I'm on.
Are you,
I'm on my main.
is
Yeah,
there something
so I just got
syncing
bad
maybe?
internet. Could be. I
Dropbox
did a ton of video.
syncing, something like
I
that.
did a ton of videos last night. Let me see in my Dropbox. They're all synced. Yeah, there should be that like one quick little button that they put up in here that like is, stop, basically like a thing that's built into PCs and Macs. There's plenty of apps, and it might even be where you can just go into what they call like live stream mode. It just shuts off all your Dropbox and iCloud, and all that different type of stuff. All right, so let's move on. As we said, we did the Brazil event. So in summary, this is what kicked us, kicked our butts, right? So that was our income, went down, etc.
Mike, you might want to go back to the document because we see the speed test on the screen right now.
Then my computer crashed because I'm seeing in the live stream my document. Well, like I'm looking in StreamYard and it shows my document, and that's what's showing.
Okay,
So,
now I see the document, but
Okay.
it just flashed over to it, but it was still on the. So
Okay.
yeah, I think we're having a little well, that would be browser issue, right? Close down some tabs.
Yeah. So
maybe a tab is.
let me ask you. No, I only have one tab open. Do you see the let me explain right now, or is it delayed?
I see in summary.
Highlight?
I see in summary.
Okay, so this is not working. So here's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to come back on camera, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you tell me, and I'll go back off. But am I in real time?
Not even close.
Well, then no camera for me. So the beautiful thing is we did write this report, and all of the details in the report. We were going to get into more content, but as we went through the table of contents, I think Donna, other than a web camera could work for this, the thing that we want to do is we want to what we did in the report. We want to apologize. You guys deserve better from us in terms of communication. We can't apologize for having cash flow problems, right? Like we can factually state we made some bad decisions, and people are accountable for those things. Companies get fired, and CEOs and things like that. And we come in and say, we apologize that blah blah blah. But the real apology has to come up with how we disappeared on you for 6 months. We didn't communicate with you for 6 months. We owe some of you money, and we didn't know how to deal with it. We handled it wrong. Now, I'm at the captain of this ship. I like to bark sometimes when I'm making a point. I'm the captain of the ship. I'm CEO. It's not that my decisions are final. It's not a dictatorship in any way, shape, or form. But I was leading the pack on how to handle this, and I don't think my instincts were wrong at the beginning. I'm not trying to hedge my bets here. Had we fixed this in 30 days, all would have been fine. Where it was wrong is when after 30 days, when the people, Donna and David, were coming to me saying, what you did didn't work. We tried it your way. It's not working. You need to address this. And I'm not going to say I was like, I'm not talking about it. I was just like, do you understand? If we say this, the internet is forever. We'll never recover. Well, they're saying it anyway. Like, all right, move on. Next topic. That's how those calls were going. And so, yeah, for that, bottom line is you guys didn't buy us. We said, here's our program. You do this. You make us money. The money went in our bank account, and then we will pay you. And we didn't pay you. We used that money to pay our employees and pay our other bills. When the right thing to do would have been cut our staff and cut our expenses sooner so that we could pay the most important people, and that's you. right? We did everything, we needed to make the server bills and got paid. Those things got paid, but we put you guys last instead of first. There's no excuse for that. I wish my camera was working. I'll put my face on, even though it isn't. Just for that one point, you get the sincere apology from me and on behalf of Groove. All right.
We could see the sincerity, Mike, in the blur that is your face.
Yeah. Okay. So sucks.
But here, let me restate it just so that it can be said with someone who you can see. We made mistakes, and our very, very first mistake was not paying our affiliates. Very first mistake. We never should have made that decision in hindsight. At the time, we thought it was a short-term decision. All the things we've said before. We were trying to save our staff, trying to make everything the same, and not make some of these hard decisions. And we had to. And yeah, in hindsight, we never should have done that. It's not fair. It's not fair to you as affiliates. Even hanging on to staff for longer than we should have isn't even fair to them, frankly.
Yeah. Or the other staff members, because the other staff members suffered as well, because by prolonging the situation, head in the sand syndrome, if we would have done the rip the Band-Aid off day one, then the current staff wouldn't have had to take pay cuts, and they have. Yeah. There's been sacrifices from the staff. We haven't even addressed that. It's not that we just cut staff members. We cut payroll, what they're getting, and they suffer. They have to come to work and make less money than they were when they originally did. So yeah. So guys, I'm reading the comments and things. So I think one of the beautiful things about coming clean with this is there are going to be different types of people that are going to see this a different way, but we always know that there is the core Groove family that is out there just based on what we're seeing here. And we could only hope that this would have happened. And that, we know we can't be everywhere. We're not asking anybody to fight our battles, but we know that there are going to be some of you that are not going to go to battle for us, but may just say, hey guys, what you're saying is actually not the case. They're not going out of business. The rest of this here. Here's a link to the report in the video, or not at all. But the bottom line is the truth is out there now, and it can be pointed to. So let's transition to the final part of the call. And that's, where do we go from here? How is the health of Groove? Look, I would love to tell you that I have $500,000 in the bank. If we did, we wouldn't. And we got it, we'd pay the affiliates and we'd have no money in the bank, right? Or, you know what I mean? So we're not going to have money in the bank for a while because it's all going to go to affiliates. And so that slows our development and different things. But what we've done is we've gotten our expenses down to about 350 grand, literally a third of where we were in the past. And there's some things you can't cut. You can't cut your servers. Like certain things you can't just cut 70% out of it. There's not fat in everything. Right. But we did what we could. We got every drop out of the lemon, and that was to stabilize the company. And now we've got our advertising, to the point where it's breaking even at $5,000 a day. But we haven't been able to scale it, and we do know that we need the back end, and the back end and our internal call center with our own offer, our own fulfillment, and our own salespeople, which is key, right? There's no
we're not hiring a call center. There isn't a war. What's that called? Not a war room. A call center.
Boiler room.
A boiler room. Yeah, there isn't a boiler room of people that are high-fiving because they made a sale. That's not how we're approaching this. Yes, we are definitely looking on how to create a more stable income for Groove, how to increase our revenue, our dollars per person. But we're not just creating things to sell. That's not us. That's not who we are. If we were to do that, we might consider things like spinning off the software apps or like it's not about selling more things. It's about finding the back end system that keeps our company stable, but that most helps our users. So I'm
I'll tell you
super
something.
excited. And I don't know, Mike, if you want to hold off on talking about, because we're already 2 hours in today. If you want to hold
I
off on
was going to
talking
ask
about the
you.
Mastermind to next week.
I want to talk about. I want to put a pin in it, but I just realized we can share your screen, and you can pull that part up.
We can, but we
and
still
so-
are having trouble hearing you. It's a little bit garbled.
Oh well, that's no good. So we're going to have to defer. So then, with that said, I'm going to leave it with this. Know that when you log into your account, it's going to work every day. Your hosting is going to work. All that was never an issue. Is never an issue. Groove is just, we're rocking back out. There would have been no issues had we not had no revenue for 4 months. That we see opportunity ahead, and we're happy that we were able to finally communicate this. And so what does that mean? What that means is moving forward, as we said, we're going to pay the affiliates on time, put a dent in what's owed in the past affiliates. We may come out with new launches again, and if they do, if they don't, but it allows us to enter back the marketplace with different opportunities like that. And we're going to be live streaming again. We're going to be podcasting. We're going to be showing our face. We're going to be training. We're going to be engaging. We miss you guys. We love you very much. I think those are the last lines of the enclosing in the document. And since I may be gargled and wobbly with my voice here, we're going to move on to telling you that we're going to meet the same bat time, same channel next week, and we're going to do a more traditional State of the Groovion. And I really wanted to talk about the Mastermind today, but we're going to do it right. And it's really awesome. Can't wait to talk to you guys more about it. So I understand, Donna, tech issues, time issues. It's 2 hours. Maybe it's a good time to get out. So I've said what I have to say, and I know it's not easy for you to hear me. So I'm going to turn it over to Donna to sign out. With that, I'm just going to basically show my burgly face again. Word I just made up. Blah, 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 blah. Love you guys, and thanks for being there, and thanks for letting us get this message out to you. I'm out. I'll let Donna close it out from here.
Thanks, Mike. And do be sure to let us know when things start moving for Bloggy. We're all concerned about your sweet cat. So, guys, thank you for being here with us. It's been 2 hours. It's been just a lot of us sharing and telling you just how much of a challenge we have been through this year. And I know that a lot of you have also been through big challenges this year. It feels like everyone is having troubles and having issues, and the economy doesn't look great, and people are struggling. And just know that none of you are struggling alone. And I'm talking to you too, Mike Filsaime. None of us are struggling alone. We are all in this together. And I think that the more we lean on and rely on each other for love and support and clarity, and most of all, perspective, the better and stronger we'll be as a community. So I'm so happy to be back. I love you all. We will see you again next week, where we're going to talk about the Mastermind, that as well as the training. And somebody asked about a lower ticket item than the Mastermind. You are not going to believe what we have ready for you guys. And I'm so excited to bring it out and make 2023 just an amazing and an incredible year. So I will see you all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, same groove time, same groove channel for the next part 2 of the State of the Groovion. And I am going to play us out with the beautiful GrooveZilla.